There are a number of terms that we use when we're creating in Silhouette Studio, and some of them you may not be familiar with. So I've been running through a few of them, and today we're going to talk about welding. So welding is basically joining two or more shapes or text into one solid piece. So we create a single cut line around the shape. You've seen before, and I've shown you that a script sometimes overlaps, and the reason for this is when they create the font, they create them as separate pieces. So when we type them together, we do need to remove those little overlap pieces because, of course, when they create it, they're not thinking about whether you're going to say hello or a name or goodbye. They're simply creating the font with their aesthetics that they're looking for. So let's do some font first. So come over to the text tool and we'll type in goodbye. So in this font, we really don't need to do any welding because there's no overlap. So let's choose a script font. I'm going to go to my favorite one because this shows exactly what I want to show. I'm going to go to my send panel so you can see. And cut. So you can see all these little pieces here. They're actually going to cut. They're going to cut out. And that's not really ideal because we're going to have all these little pieces. Our design's just not going to look that good. So what we need to do, let me just put this on the design area, is we need to weld them together. So we need to make them sort of one piece. Obviously we have the G's, but you get it. So we come up here to this little box here and we go weld. And now I go back here, you can see that all those little areas where the font actually overlapped is now solid. So it's going to cut the E as an E and not with this little bit out of it. Now one thing you've got to bear in mind when you do weld is it separates things sometimes. So you can see it's separated from the G. So before moving it, select it all and group it back together. Okay, so that's with fonts or text. Sort of makes sense, doesn't it? But let's just grab some shapes. Now this is where it becomes really cool because you can create all sorts of fantastic shapes by using this little tool. Alright, so I'm just going to use some different shapes there. So at the moment they're three separate shapes. If I go to the send panel, they're going to cut as three separate shapes. So all these little bits are going to cut. But if I want that in one piece, just select it and weld. Now if I go to the send panel, it's just going to cut the outline there. So when you hear the term welding, that's what it means. It means joining two or more shapes or text together to create one solid piece. And the weld tool is up here. So if you liked our video, don't forget to give us a thumbs up. And if you'd like to be notified whenever we release more videos, just hit the subscribe button and they'll let you know when we've got new ones up. Until next time, have fun silhouetting.